Gonna give everybody a few minutes. I know I'm nearly 20 minutes behind, but here we are doing things. Stuff. Oh, yes. I absolutely love technology. I do, honestly. But my computer is lackluster is gonna be the word I use. Um, but yeah, this computer was bought for me in 2016, I believe, so I could do schoolwork. So I finished my bachelor's, and all I needed it to do was search the internet and power Microsoft Office. And yeah, I'm asking it to do a lot more nowadays, and it's crumbling under the pressure, as it were. So, like I said, I'm going to give us a few minutes to get caught up. I'm looking at some stuff right now. I had all my notes together, I swear, I swear. Today we're covering Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, all 3 editions. So it's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, more Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and like more Scary Stories to Chill Your Bones. And yeah, more Tales to Chill Your Bones. So that's pretty cool. I think it's cool anyway. But I'm also kind of a nerd, so doesn't matter. So, as it were, yesterday I posted this week's poll for this Thursday's costume, and I feel really bad that half of my costume is gone. This was one of the most important costumes that I think this was actually my very first cosplay that I ever put together for myself. When I became an adult, as we shall say, because I've done a lot of theater work, I've played a lot of parts, and I've had a lot of costumes. But as far as cosplay, I hadn't done it until I was an adult, and this was my very first one because back in high school, I was there were like at least 10 or 15 other girls in my class that were the same name as me. And so to differentiate us, most of the time, we all had different nicknames. And my nickname was Tifa Lockhart. I say Tifa, I've said Tifa my whole life, but a lot of people say Tifa, and I don't care, honestly. I mean, I think I don't care so much because it wasn't my name. And I don't know, even now, whenever people try and say Vanessa, most of the time they get it wrong. And that's why Nessa's just easier. It's universal, it's colloquial. I think I actually have to change something really quick on my stream info, because I think I've accidentally still got it on Destiny, and it should definitely be under just chatting. So let me fix that. Like I said, I'm giving you guys a couple more minutes to get in here before we get started. So I'm getting my life together. Hi, Thorsenheim. I love you. I miss you. I'm sorry I'm late. Yay for the Tifa. I will get into the costume, which, like I said, half of it's gone. I'm gonna have to redo it. So this is a costume that I've had for 10 years. I first did Tifa Lockhart for the first time in... No, it's only 9 years. I did it in 2011. It was my very first, and actually I do need to redo this because this one's... Let's just say I was bigger whenever I did this the first time, and I lost a lot of weight, so now I need to redo my costume. So I'm not mad about it. I have invested a lot of money into my costumes, and I'm pretty excited to bring this one out of the mothballs, as it were. It's been stuck in my closet for a while. I haven't done Tifa in a long time, but a lot of my old friends would love to see that I'm doing this at all. So yeah, this will be great. It's a good look. No, this is ragtag. We're not even going to talk about how bad this is right now. But yes, the picture on Twitter might show you how bad this actually is. But I will go in depth on the costume. We can do that now. I don't care. We got this now. We've been on for 5 minutes, so. So as you all probably have guessed, this week's poll ended up with Tifa Lockhart as the winner. It was weird. It pulled out. I really thought I was ready to put on my Gryffindor uniform. I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready. Let's get it. And then I looked at the poll and I was like, oh, okay. So this was still at the bottom of my costume trunk. And yeah, that's probably why I did not realize that half of my costume's missing. And a rather important part, you probably don't even think about it, but Tifa Lockhart from Advent Children, she has an apron. And if you can't see, I have no apron. Also, additionally, my shorts that went with this costume do not fit me anymore, so I had to come out with my own shorts, which are not all the way black. So, yeah, that's great. That's great, guys. It's great. But I do have my awesome shoes. My 1 stars, because you can't have Chuck Taylors doing this because too big. The big circle's way too big. But whatever. It's fine. It's a really common misconception, and she actually has a bigger heel. Your updating costumes is a real pain. I'm having to deal with it. But also not wearing a wig. I used to have the hair. My hair used to be darker, but now that it's going gray, it's a lot lighter than it used to be. So again, I'm failing. Hi, nope. I'm talking about how bad I'm failing at being Tifa today, even though you guys really wanted it. I bet none of you in here even voted for Tifa. I bet, like, none of you did. Those people who wanted me to be Tifa are not even in here. Thank you. You did? Oh, okay. Well, this is Tifa Lockhart from Advent Children. I'll stand up again. Yeah, so you didn't vote? Well, that's not my fault then. But yeah, these shorts, the shorts that I had for my original costume don't fit me. Like I said, I was a lot heavier when I first did this costume. So I probably should check my costumes before actually doing them anymore. But anyway, and I don't have my apron. My apron is gone. I'm so upset. So I have to go and make another apron or buy one or commission one, whatever I'm going to end up doing. But I have my Geostigma awareness ribbon. I don't know if you guys even know the concept behind Final Fantasy Advent Children, but Geostigma has rocked the planet, and people are raising awareness and fighting and surviving. So they wear their Geostigma awareness ribbons. And so I always have that. It's always a thing, and this still fits because it's meant to be super tight. But yeah, so my costume is not as good as I'd like it to be for you guys. I'm telling you, I was ready to put on my Gryffindor uniform. Like, I was sitting there like, I have washed and pressed my shirt, the white shirt, my tie is ready. I just have to pull my skirt out and pull out my robes, and it'll be great. I have no idea where my wand is, but I at least had my uniform ready. That's all I got. And my vest. The vest was going to be great. It was awesome. But no, you guys, like photo finish. You wanted Tifa Lockhart. So here I am, being Tifa Lockhart, and I love it. Final Fantasy VII is my thing. Alright, so, now that we've got the costume out of the way. Hi, Graf! I'm so glad you made it in here. Now that we've got the costume out of the way, I would like to talk, and I'm going to use the word talk. We're going to discuss. It's mostly going to be me ranting. Preface, spoiler alert, I wasn't impressed. So, welcome in everybody to episode 9 of Between the Pages. Today's episode we will be discussing Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, all three of them, the books anyway, and Guillermo del Toro's rendition of a theatrical performance. And I would like to preface this by saying I wasn't sure what to expect from the movie because, as we all know, if you haven't read this, I read this when I was in the 7th grade, I think. So it's nostalgic for me. So I was really excited when I heard last year that Del Toro was doing Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, but I don't think I thought it through. And after rereading the books again yesterday, I was like, what in the world is he going to do? Because I love Del Toro's work. I absolutely love it. He has done many great and incredible things that I'm going to discuss momentarily, but right now we want to focus on Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So, we all know that this is a trilogy, which is great. They're very short. The basic synopsis of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is they are a conglomeration, just like this epicenter of old folklore, scary stories. In the very beginning of the first one, Schwartz actually prefaces it by saying a lot of these are old pioneer, round the campfire stories that people used to feel good about feeling afraid and scared, being away from home, being in the dark, being out in the wilderness, and, you know, some pretty cool supernatural paranormal things. And I thought that was a really great theme to go with for, you know, this is the month of Halloween. So, we're gonna break into my handy dandy, yes, I still write on paper, notebook. And as I said, this is a trilogy. As I was taking notes yesterday during the movie, I noticed that all of the stories that are represented in Del Toro's movie comes from either book 1 or book 3. He completely neglected book 2, which is sad because I liked book 2. A lot of the best stories come from book 3, but book 2 was great. I enjoyed book 2. I believe that it has one of my favorites. There are 2 favorites in this story, and spoiler alert, I really don't want to ruin these books for you guys, but honestly, they've been out since 1991, I think. I do believe that's when it was copyrighted. I actually had this conversation last night. Anyway, and one of them was covered in there, and it's called The Red Spot. In The Red Spot, a girl is bitten in the night, I do believe it's in the night, by a spider. And she's got this boil on her face, and she goes on day after day, like, what is going on? This boil won't go away. So anyway, she goes into a hot bath, and the heat from the bath basically, warms up the boil on her face, and it erupts into hundreds and thousands of spiders just coming out of her face, and it's fantastic. And the cinematography in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the movie, was incredible. I have no qualms about that. But I will tell you what I do have qualms with momentarily. Right now I want to speak about the stories. And the ones that were covered in the movie are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on. So the ones that were in the movie were Harold, about a scarecrow, The Big Toe, about some poor boy eating a big toe, gross, The Red Spot, which I just covered, The Hearse Song, The Wendigo, The Dream. The Hearse Song, I'm sorry, I didn't go with that, but The Hearse Song is just a song about what happens if you laugh at, it was not good soup, that's disgusting. The Hearse Song is just about what happens if you laugh at a funeral procession going by. It's not good. That's disgusting, please stop. The Dream, crap. Oh, so The Dream was about a creepy pale lady. No, it wasn't me, I swear. And the last thing that's mentioned in the movie is Mitai Doty Walker, and that's I feel like it was more of a Celtic ghost story more than frontier work across like America, as it were. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so basically these stories they're either fun jump scares and there are actual directions how to read these stories in the books, which is really cool. And the whole "who took my toe" in the big toe, which is I believe one of the first in the first book. In that particular story, the directions say, like, whenever you're saying "who took my toe," you're supposed to like jump out to your friend and say, "You've got it!" So yeah, there's that. But there are a lot of cool directions in there, and it makes it fun, and it makes it campy, and I really love it, right? But, and I don't want to say but, I think that there was a huge problem with the movie that Del Toro created, and I think I love his premise, I love the idea, the nostalgia purposes were undeniable. But none of these stories related to each other, and the way that he compiled them was very, very loose. It was very, and I don't want to say lazy, I don't want to say predictable, but it was like, that's really the best you've come up with? Because I expect a lot from Del Toro. Del Toro has come up with some incredible and majestic, off-the-wall movies and TV shows. His ideas are incredible. And I was just so underwhelmed with this. Like, I want to give it another shot. And I found out that there is going to be a Scary Stories 2. And I'm not excited. I was really disappointed in this movie. I don't know what expectations I had, but like I read the books, I sat down, I watched the movies, and I was like, this is a mess. This is literally a mess. Because none of the stories related to each other. There was no common ground. There was no synergy. It was just, here, look at all these scary stories that I put together. And he had incredible cinematography. His effects were amazing. The angles were great, the music was great, everything worked, but the story was bad. And honestly, it lost me. And I hate that because, and I hate that I knew that this was not going to be excellent content for today, guys. I hate that I feel like I'm providing you guys substandard content, but I am rather upset in myself for letting it be a photo finish of, yeah, I finished all these last night, yay, good for me. And I watched that movie, but I was so disappointed. And I want to go over some of the really great things that Del Toro has brought us. Most recently and most notably in like the forefront of my mind, if you guys have not seen the Netflix original series of Troll Hunters, you're missing out on life. Because holy crap, my daughter loves Troll Hunters, and I watched it with her. Every time a new season came out, I was right there with her. I had to know what was going on next. Troll Hunters is wonderful, yes. And I believe he did 0 Below or 3 Below, something like that. And it's a spin-off a little bit of a couple of characters from Troll Hunters, but I haven't seen it all because I don't want to outplay, the majesty that he created for me. But I do have a list up of his works as a writer and director. So I want to discuss at least his highlights that I personally have something to do with. If you guys have something that you specifically would like me to talk about and cover, throw it in chat and I will get to it, I promise. If I haven't seen it, please allow me to tell you I haven't seen it, and then write up a little like synopsis of it, and I'll put it on my to watch list. My to watch list is a little out of control right now because I haven't had time to watch anything since I've been catching up on my to read list. So, but I will get to it. I promise. I do have a viable and written down to watch list. All right. So there's, yep. There's also The Wizards, by the way. So catch up on Netflix. That's amazing. So the first one that I've come to here is Crimson Peak. If you guys have not seen Crimson Peak, it is a trip and a half. Again, I just have such a high expectation of Del Toro and his cinematography because of things like Crimson Peak. It is a beautiful, dark, and vibrant movie, but the story is kind of crazy. You're sitting there like, did I even like that? Like, what did I just watch? But I love it. Oh my god, it's so good. Very creepy. Cannot tell you how much it rocked my world. If you have not seen Crimson Peak, I need to find you a way to see Crimson Peak. If it's on Prime, that'll be a movie that we do for a movie night. FYI. Yes, exactly like Troll Hunters. Yep, that's what we're talking about. Anyway, so Crimson Peak, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a period piece, I believe. I want to say 18th or 19th century. And this poor girl goes to live and marry this very rich man that lives with his sister up in an isolated castle. And there's some spooky things that go on, and it's a ghost story, and it's creepy, and highly recommend. It's I'd give it 3.5, 4. I know I'm telling you I highly recommend it, but that's only because like it's pretty trippy. So yeah, right, Thor Sondheim. Yep, Crimson Peak messed me up, but it was beautiful. You cannot deny the beauty in that movie. So another thing that we are obviously going to talk about that Del Toro was a writer of were the Hobbit trilogy. The Hobbit movie trilogy, obviously nothing to do with the book. I'll fight you. I like to say that I hate these movies, but I only hate them because they changed a beloved childhood story a lot. But the cinematography, again, unquestionable. The soundtrack, impeccable. There is nothing better than that soundtrack. Nothing. Just FYI. But if I were to sit down, be honest with you about the Hobbit movies as movies, undeniable, unquestionable. They were incredible. I can't even, there's not a word. Amazing, incredible, just they were a work of art. And I have no doubt in my mind that Del Toro was a huge part of them being as successful and amazing as they were. So, again, something I highly recommend. Hellboy. I did not see Hellboy 2, so I can't speak to Hellboy 2, but Hellboy, if you guys, and maybe that's nostalgia too. I have not seen that in a long time, but Hellboy was an incredible anti-hero movie for me, and I love anti-hero movies. You recently watched the Hobbit movies? Had you not seen them before, Thor? Crimson Peak was, yes, the one with Tom Hiddleston. Yes, that movie messed me up bad. bad, bad. But yeah, Hellboy, wonderful anti-hero movie. Um, we all know and love Deadpool, but Hellboy was like, I want to say, a gateway movie for the wide reception of anti-heroes. So Hellboy 2, The Golden Army was awesome. Alright, absolutely recommend you add that to your... Alright, I got that. I will write it down. Hellboy 2. See, this is why we get to have Q&As. Interaction is important. I've seen the Hobbit movies many times, but I decided... Oh, yes. Is that cinematography not amazing? It is beautiful. And, like, you can't argue with any of the Lord of the Rings, even as old as they are now. So beautiful. Pan's Labyrinth. If you have not seen this movie, and you want to get fucked up by what is technically a kid's movie, go watch it. It, to this day, gives me nightmares. And I love it. Oh my gosh. I remember when Netflix first came out. And yeah, that's how old I am. I remember when Netflix first came out. And I got my first free trial to it, and Pan's Labyrinth was like one of the only things on there that I could watch for streaming. And I popped it on, and I was mortified. Holy crap! But again, Del Toro's, he's got some sort of magic, and he makes all of his movies just the most beautiful thing you'll ever see. Even if it's just horrible, gruesome things you're seeing, they're still beautiful. What else do we have here? He's produced a lot, apparently. But I don't necessarily care about that, because you can produce a lot of things and not necessarily have, like, your stamp on it. Oh, he was a creative consultant on Megamind, which, if you haven't seen it, worth it. So worth the watch. Yeah, I don't think any of those are the most... He's filming Pinocchio? Is that a live-action Pinocchio? What? What, guys? My mind is being blown. Yep, they are doing... Oh, it's animated. Okay, so he's redoing the animated version of Pinocchio? Okay. Ewan McGregor's in it, so I'm gonna be watching it. Cate Blanchett, hell yes. You got me on the cast alone. But yeah, a darker version of the classic children's fairy tale of a wooden puppet that transforms into a real living boy. Alright, cool. I'm gonna be watching that, guys. So watch it with me. Pinocchio, 2021. What else do we have here, guys? I want to go back to his director list. Okay. I still haven't seen Pacific Rim. I've heard good things. I've also heard bad things. Anybody want to give me their feedback on Pacific Rim? Blade 2. Actually, Blade 2 is one of my favorites because of how unsettling the hybrid vampires are. Like, having your mouth open sideways. Ugh, it'll get you. It gets me anyway. I must be crazy though, right? Must be crazy. Oh, he was also in The Book of Life. I still haven't seen it yet, but I definitely want to see The Book of Life. That's another animated children's book, so, or not book, but children's story, so well worth it. But yeah, that's his list of things that I'm super familiar with. Let me catch up and chat. I actually didn't realize Del Toro was a part of the Hobbit trilogy until the most recent viewing session. Well, yeah. I don't think it has his, like, feel in it as much as, like, most of the movies that he's written, or for, like, the screenplay and such. But yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, failed. Hi, I know I'm supposed to ignore the message, but OMG, I don't know if I can watch Pan's Labyrinth the second time, right? Pan's Labyrinth really messed me up, man. Really messed me up. Like, I don't want to do spoilers, but all I have to say is this, and that bothers me immensely whenever I see someone do that. So, there's that, everybody. Del Toro was a part of Pacific Rim. He was a director. So, if you guys have anything you want to say about Pacific Rim, for, against, put it on my watch list, see what happens. First was alright. It's what you think. Giant robots fighting monsters. There's more than one Pacific Rim? What? Are you crazy right now? There's more than one? I'm trying to remember if Pacific Rim is the one with, was it Alexander Skarsgård in there, or was that the one with Gerard Butler? I feel like there was a giant robot thing with one or both of these two people, and I love both of them, so I'd like to know. Listen, Gundam was my gateway anime, so Pacific Rim was my bread and butter. Okay, alright. Who doesn't love Gundam, honestly? Pacific Rim sounds like a tropical porn. That's disgusting, Mass. Thank you for that. There is a second, but I haven't seen it. Okay. The second one is kind of lame. Alright, well, there's two. I guess I will watch the first, and then we will contemplate the second, because we all know that sequels aren't as good as the originals. But that's not always the case, because, wait. I think I might negate my own argument right here, because I was going to say Two Towers is, like, my favorite book, but honestly, the entire trilogy is just amazing, so, you recommend the first. It has Ron Perlman. He makes it worth it. Ron Perlman. What's Ron Perlman been in? The name's not even triggering anything in me, so... Oh, he was Hellboy! Okay, so... Don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me. Is this like one of those situations like Burton and Depp? Because, like, every successful Burton film has Johnny Depp in it. I don't even want to just limit it to his successful films. Pretty much every Burton film has Depp in it. Except maybe his Batman movie. I don't think Depp's in it. I don't think. He's a national treasure? Of course he is. You're putting that together now? Thank you. I appreciate that. I will expect a presentation very soon. Very soon. But yeah. So, I know that this got off topic of the books and the singular movie, but I was so disappointed, and I was so not even looking forward to today, but I wanted to share with you guys the amazing things that Del Toro has done. And while I was not impressed, I think Del Toro did the best he could to make these books into a succinct movie. I wasn't upset about watching it because, like I said, it was a joy to watch. But it was a bad story. I don't know why he ever thought, or anyone ever thought, that these books, even one of these books, needed to be a movie. They don't have anything to do with each other. So it was, I don't know. I think I didn't even realize how much I hated it until the end. So, like, go watch it for yourself, see what happens. But please don't have any expectations of it. So, there's that. It could have been a good mini... It could have been! Oh my gosh, he should have done that. Holy crap. Everybody, I'm going to need you to get on Twitter right now and do hashtag Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark miniseries Netflix. Like, just do this, because Del Toro has already at least 2 very successful Netflix series. Oh my god, please do this for me. I'm gonna do it after this. Oh, wow, Mass, thank you for that. Yes, each episode being separate from the other. Like, oh my gosh, what is it? That movie, or not that movie, that series that I like, Black Mirror. None of those episodes have anything to do with each other. But, yeah, see? We could all get on board with this. We should definitely do this. Hashtag light Twitter up with this. This is going to be amazing. Now, I need to put Pacific Rim, even dumb people. I didn't call you dumb. You guys all witnessed this. I didn't call him dumb. He's calling himself dumb. I'm putting Pacific Rim on my list here. Just the first, though. And it's not a tropical porn, unlike what some people may think. Anyway, any last comments, questions, concerns? I know this is super short, guys, but I didn't have a lot to say about the movie and the books. Honestly, look how small these books are. Look how small that is. I read, like, each of these while being super distracted within an hour. Each, obviously. I was super distracted. I was watching TV. I'm not even gonna lie. And there wasn't much to say about them. It really just wasn't, there wasn't a whole lot there, and I think that's why the movie didn't hit right, is because it was really thin, really weak. And I feel like I expected more from Del Toro, so